All right, that is the beautiful voice and the video of an artist who's our guest today, and that song is titled Pressure Island. Her name is Diana Lolade Bada, and she's popularly known as Diana Bada. She is a recording and performing artist and mashes up hip-hop, jazz, and reggae in a fusion she likes to call Afro Soul. We have the delectable Diana Bada with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
Diana.
for having me.
Great
Hi,
to have
guys.
you.
How are you today?
I like
Very
you.
well,
Very well.
thank you.
I like
Thank
your
you.
voice. I like that video. That song is Pressure Island. What does it mean and what inspired it?
Well, it started off as I was trying to express myself being in a relationship, and I actually wrote the song. I wasn't in Nigeria when I wrote the song, but I actually just left Lagos, and then I had so much pressure like coming from me. It's like a metaphor, you know, so the pressure comes from a relationship that you're in, and at the same time when you're having pressure in your society. So I think a lot of people can relate to that. So I worked the video you just saw now, I actually worked with different visual artists, and I told them to also interpret their own expression of pressure. How do they see pressure in their own world? So even the dancer, you can see her body movement, like, so she was also like trying to connect with the song as well. So it was a really beautiful project. And
No, you have to share with us some of these pressures.
yeah, so for example, I worked with Olatunde Alara. He's a visual artist. So if you see, it's actually stop motion. We built a box, and it's all images. And I also worked with a producer called Dmitry Prokofiev. He's actually a Russian director, and he's very good with stop motion. So yeah, so I was just blessed and grateful that I could be able to work with creative minds to put this piece together.
You still haven't told me the pressures. I want to hear like the pressures.
Okay, for example,
so
the pressures you have
pressure
in society. So, for example, if you're in a relationship with a guy, and you guys are maybe trying to make things work to bond closer, and then you have the pressure of how to maybe getting a job, or like for example, from my own pressure, what was going on was he wasn't working and I was trying to provide, and then the pressure that we like each other, he was working, you know, this sort of thing, like it can keep you in a space where you start to consider how can you pass this barrier, you know, so those type of pressures, I believe people can relate to that.
You also mentioned, sorry we're still talking about this pressure, but because like you mentioned, many people can certainly identify with this, particularly living in Lagos. Now the name of the song is Pressure Island, and you drew the comparison
with
it's
Lagos.
Almost like a metaphor for Lagos Island. Lagos Island, Pressure Island.
Exactly.
So in society, I mean, I can say off the top of my head some of the pressure that we face living in Lagos, the pressure not to repeat your clothes so that they don't think that you have just one. The pressure, traffic.
Also the power cuts.
Yeah, power cuts.
Water supply. Like there's so many things that you have to handle living in Lagos. Yeah, like you're your own government. I hear that a lot. Like you're your own government in your house. You supply your power. You know, sometimes people go as far as when they're sick, they don't want to go to the medical center. They'll rather treat themselves. It's also part of a pressure because you're afraid maybe of the bill, or you know, or for your health. You're like, okay, let me save some cost. So it's all kinds of ways that we survive here. Thank God we're alive. Thank God we're healthy and happy. But at the same time, things can be better.
And even here in Nigeria, like you mentioned, in relationships, you started dating for a few. You just started dating this guy like how many seconds ago, and everybody's expecting, oh, when are we coming for our
wedding?
When are we coming to eat rice? And beyond that, they're expecting to have a society wedding. Everybody will come and eat and get souvenirs. Pressure for you to have your wedding put on blogs. You know, so that's really
a
so
lot
much
of eyes on you
pressure.
and all that. Exactly. So
all right. I mean, and very well said, and I'm glad that you sang about this. Now, there's some people who I know you've described your sound as Afro soul.
Yes.
But we know some Nigerian artists who merge their music with some form of politics and advocacy.
Okay.
Would you describe yourself like that with regards to speaking up for the masses through your sound?
Well, I am very conscious with when I compose music. I always feel that when I put something out, I would want people to relate to it in a way that I as simple as I can experience it. You too, you're going through the same thing. So for me, when I write, a lot of it is more positive. Like I do not want to like point fingers and mention names, but at the same time, I want to get you thinking, like, what's happening? How can we improve? How can we be better people? How can we come together? My music spreads love, peace, harmony, because we need more of that here, especially here in Nigeria, especially where we are today. We've come a long way, you know, so we need to find ourselves in a place where we should stop like holding grudges over certain things, or so my music expresses stuff in that way, in that sense, where I'm not being political. It's just more about your consciousness, like awakening your consciousness. Like, what are we doing? Are we on the right track? Have we lost time? What can we do to make it possible for us, for our next generation, to enjoy or to be in a place that is better than where we are today? So, yeah.
So you're actually mixed race, you're not pure Nigerian. And from your last video, you also had someone who's from your other half country.
Actually, no, he's Nigerian. You mean Godwan?
No, there was a name you mentioned, one Russian name.
Okay, that was the director, Dmitry Prokofiev. He's actually a Russian guy.
And you're half Nigerian, half Russian?
Yes, it was just totally a coincidence.
Oh, really?
Just a coincidence that he's Russian, and he's an artist as well. He's a visual artist, so I was lucky to meet him when he was working on other projects here in Lagos, and I proposed to him that why not we do something together. So
okay, so how much influence does your Russian background have on your kind of music?
Well, I believe that I am just myself. Like, I don't want to say, okay, because I'm from Nigeria or from here, that this is what I do. I believe we're all different. Everyone is different. All musical sounds are always different. Your composition, your lyrics, your melody. So for me, I feel this is just me based on my own experiences and based on my own ideas of how music should be produced. But a lot of people can say, okay, maybe your Russian background is influencing your sound. I would say from my mom's side, there are musical people, like my grandmother, my grandfather, they were in a live music band. My mom too, she sings opera. But at the same time, from my father's side too, they're musical too. So my father too, my cousins sing as well. They're in choirs and all that. And my father too was a music lover. So from both sides, I guess. So.
All right, so you were almost like destiny. You were destined to sing. At what age did you start singing?
I discovered my writing because I compose, I arrange, I produce as well. So my writing skills, I remember, was officially when I was 10 years old. But before that, I was already singing, always disturbing people in the house. They're always telling me, it's enough, stop singing. So from there was probably when I was like 5, 6. But then the composition, like realizing that I can also write, I can songwrite, was when I was 10.
How many languages do you speak? Do you speak, okay, yeah, how many languages do you speak?
Officially, if you consider Pidgin as a language, which I do, then I would say I speak 3 languages.
Okay, which are?
English, Broken, and Russian.
You speak, oh really, you speak Russian?
Yes,
so I'm
I
looking
do.
forward to seeing a song where you have some Russian words, the lyrics.
I mix my music a lot. It depends on my expression. So I do have songs where I have worked with people. I've worked with some Russian musicians where I also composed in Russian. And there's sometimes where I'm also studying French at the moment. So I'm praying that very soon I'll be able to also compose in French as well.
That would be beautiful.
Thank you very much.
As a composer, many people would list some others as their musical influences, because sometimes you like a sound, you want to, these are people who have inspired you. Who would you say are your musical influences?
Well, I love all kinds of musicians and writers, poets. There's so many that are in my head. The styles of music I love listening to, number one, I love reggae. Because reggae is positive, reggae is conscious. So I love reggae. I love jazz. So I can mention musicians from different genres. I also love Fela. I believe Fela was a genius of his time and until today. Like his compositions were amazing. The message was there, And in jazz, I love Ella Fitzgerald, Miles Davis, Sarah Vaughan, Billie Holiday. In reggae, there's so many. There's Taros Riley, Chronix, Bob Marley, Kabaka. In Nigeria, I love, you mean of current times?
Yes.
Simi, I like Adekunle Gold, Brymo.
If I gave you one blank check to work with any artist in the world you'd love to work with, just one, who would it be?
Wow, that is so hard. That's a very hard question. Because there's a lot of beautiful music out there, and there's a lot of talent here in Lagos as well, here in Nigeria. Am I still on the spot? Like, to tell you who? It's so hard.
Okay, in Nigeria, who is that one person you'd like to work with?
Right now, today, I think I'd like to work with... there's so many here, too. It's like, I don't want to say one name, and then I'll be like... Can I mention a few names?
Yes,
okay, I'd love to work with Two-Face, definitely. I'd love to work with Seun Kuti, Brymo, Timaya.
Recently as well.
Yes, I love Timaya. I love MI.
Oh, we're friends. If you love MI, then we're friends.
Oh wow!
I love MI.
Yes, so there's a lot of people here I like to work with as well.
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Lovely. All right. Now you mentioned I like the fact that your musical love is varied with regards to what you like. You like reggae, you like rap, you like
trap, hip hop,
so you're just a musician.
I love music. Exactly. That's
music.
it. I love music.
All right. Now let's talk about alternative music.
Okay.
This is an era in Nigeria that is growing. You know, we've seen the rise of a number of alternative musicians, and they're really changing the game in Nigeria.
Yes.
What do you think? Like in the next 5 years, do you think alternative music is here to stay?
I totally believe so. I like the word you used, growing, because even like there has always been alternative music in Nigeria from way back when, from the 60s, the 70s. There was the high life, there was Afrobeat, you know, there was Juju, there was Fuji. Even till today, it's there, but I believe now the voices are getting louder because Nigeria too is coming out of a place from the 60s when we gained our independence, 70s, there was a big rise, and then again there was a fall in the economy. And I believe this also affects the music industry, the entertainment industry. It affects a lot of industries when things are not working the way they should. So when you look at it now, musicians are supporting themselves, and at the same time, people are ready to listen, people are ready to encourage. And I feel like 5 years from now, we'll get to a point where someone can walk into a music store and go to a section, like a genre of music. I can go to Afro jazz and see various artists. I'm like, okay, I want to listen to this person, you know. For now, we're not yet there. For now, we have, but we have come a very long way. We have really built, and the thing is, the structure is starting to come together. So 5 years from now, I think we're gonna be able to spread our music across to different parts of the globe, not restricting it to Nigeria, because there's too much talent here that needs to be heard.
What is the future for Diana?
Well, Diana loves to create, so I believe that my dream is to keep working and collaborating. I love working with instrumentalists, DJs, and also to inspire people, the young ones who are coming up and trying to get their voices heard, looking for a platform to showcase their work. So I'm involving myself with different projects where we can give people opportunities to also express themselves in the art form. Yeah.
All right, lovely.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed every single moment.
Okay,
Thank
let's make it a little more fun. A little birdie told me you went to Adrao.
Yes, I was in Adrao.
And someone else went to Adrao.
So we actually
Really?
went to the same school.
I'm tempted to ask you both to sing your national anthem.
Oh, I know it is.
Can you remember yours?
I can't, honestly.
If I say the first line, you probably would.
All right.
Adrao is the name of my
school.
There is the water running around. It is a claim,
Can you still remember it? Okay, our challenge to you out there is probably do a video of yourself singing your national anthem and post it. Tag us at @AyoMario and at Olive Emodi. Your school anthem, I beg your pardon. Can you remember your school anthem, be it primary school or secondary school? Let's do a little throwback before Thursday. And if you post your video today, we'll play it on air tomorrow. All right? Let us know. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you,
God
Dan.
bless.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love am.